Okay, we're live on YouTube.
Okay, this is Todd Moore. I'd like to call the OpenJS Foundation board meeting for Friday, October the 3rd to order.
Okay, great.
Brian,
welcome
please,
everybody.
Proceed with the agenda. Thank you.
Very good. Welcome everybody. Okay, up on the screen we have the OpenJS Foundation board directory. And the agenda for today, we are actually not going to approve the minutes in the live call. We're going to do that over email since I was late getting them out. We'll have an update on certification, and then Michael is going to give us an update on the CPC, and then Rachel will give us an update on the marketing committee. Anybody like to add anything to the agenda?
I think you can proceed, Brian.
All right, sounds good. So as I mentioned, we're going to skip this over and approve the meeting minutes by email. Let's start with the certification update. Robin, would you like to take us through this?
Yeah, sure. As you all may know, we recently launched a training program to complement the certification exams. And we came out with this with both now the app and the services one. They're both available. So now you have the opportunity to buy each piece a la carte or separately, or to take advantage of some discounts if you buy in a bundle. And if you've been following our Twitter, you know that we had a big Halloween sale, which expires tomorrow, October 31st, where you could get up to 75% discount on buying that bundle. So I encourage you all, if you're interested, to take a look at that. We've been getting great feedback on those exams. Particularly, you know, it's really helping folks get recognized in the market. So that's great. The other thing is our exams are also available in Chinese, and we're having all of the complimentary content translated in Chinese as well. So you have your choice. Depending on where you live, you can take in English or Chinese. And I encourage you, if you want to learn more and do a deep dive, we have Dave Clements and Adrian Estrada, reps from Nearform and NodeSource. And I hosted an AMA with them, and there's a link right there if you want to take a look on our YouTube channel. Any other questions?
No, you've done a great job of getting this together, and obviously the sales with the discount have been quite good. Appreciate what you've done. I think, Robin, we're well on our way again.
Great. Yeah, I think having that complete package is what people from the experience of the Linux Foundation education team are finding that's really what people want and need. So,
well, hopefully more will take advantage of it. It's certainly worthwhile.
Me too.
Okay, any other questions or comments? I'll move us forward onto the CPC update. Michael, would you like to take us through this?
Thanks. So this month we don't have any project-related updates, so we can move to the next slide. So the main things that the CPC has been working on since the last meeting is we're looking at the proposal process. We'd put in place a 4-stage proposal process. When we brought the two foundations together, it allowed more time for discussing topics that were potentially contentious. We're at the point where we really don't run into that very often, so we're simplifying the process down to 2 stages. One, which is so that we can incubate proposals, work on them together, and then the second stage where it's basically ready for being approved, by the CPC, by the board if necessary, and so forth. So, just our experience in going through a few recent proposals, we thought we could make things easier, and that's what we're working on. The other thing that is active at the CPC is discussion to define our annual review process. Our documents and charter say that we're going to do an annual review process, having gotten through the first year. We're now starting to look at what that process should be. The focus right now is on growth plans, because that's another component of that process. And we're working with a few of the projects. I think it's AMP and Mocha who volunteered to write up the initial growth plans, use them as sort of an example, and to figure out how they'll fit into the review process and so forth. And then finally, there's ongoing work on the individual supporter program, which we've mentioned before. And, we look forward to launching that, I think, before the end of the year. And I think that's it for CPC updates.
Okay, any questions from Michael? Okay, we're going to move on then to the marketing update. Rachel, would you like to take us through this?
Sure. So we're gonna go through this pretty quickly, but I wanted to share our blog metrics. October was in line with previous months, so we're making really, we're making good progress on continuous content. We had some really great blogs this past week with Node. Again, our new training course is available, so there's a blog post there. That was a really well-performing blog post this month. And when we get to the next slide, I think we'll see the, yes, so our session duration. Everything is pretty much, status quo, except our session duration, which I looked into. And a lot of people were really focused on our training blog. So a lot of people spent a lot of time reading that, clicking through that. So that was really cool to see, lots of engagement on our training blog for this month. Again, not too much has changed on our top channels. Still getting a ton of referral traffic from the projects. And here's the breakdown here. We did see Node-RED come into the top 10 as well as AMP, which is really exciting because we supported some events earlier this month with them. So that's great to see, some traffic from those sources. Any questions around website metrics?
So our bounce rate went up a little bit. Was there anything that we should know, or?
It's such a small amount, less than 1%, less than 1%. I didn't look too much into it. Google Analytics is really good about kind of showing some anomalies and things like that. So if it doesn't get flagged, I tend not to look too much into it. Also, I like to look at sort of month over month. So if it did something super crazy, I tend to click in. So, nothing really much to report there.
Okay. Do we have a bounce rate goal for the year then, on average for the year that we're shooting for?
We don't, but there are metrics that are sort of best class that we can certainly compare to. And it's escaping me off the top of my head what a good bounce rate is. But we can certainly include that here and sort of just compare what we're doing versus industry standard, if that's helpful.
Yeah, that would be nice to have on here. I think everybody likes to have a reference point, and I think it would help those who are looking at the board materials from the outside to be able to see how we're doing against other things.
I know our bounce rate is a little high for industry standard, but I can't remember the exact range that's quote unquote good.
Yeah, and I think if we get some referring traffic data from our projects, we might find that people are bouncing out to our projects as well. So
yeah, very, very, very likely too.
Yeah. Also, when we do links to sales for certification, a lot of times they'll click into those links and go hopefully purchase. So
yeah, I'm not too worried about session duration. I think the way the analytics work there is you actually have to click on to someplace else in order to really see the session duration. So you end up with a lot of very short session numbers that don't really mean much. So
yeah. Any other questions around website metrics? If not, we can go into social media. Engagement was really great this month. We had a really great sentiment. I think this is probably the highest that I've reported. So all good news. There was, I'm trying to think, oh, our AMP AMA was this month. So that's sort of that high engagement bar on our Twitter impressions, which was a really great AMA. And we can kind of look at that on our YouTube page. Are there any questions about Twitter though? If not, we can go to LinkedIn. We're down a little bit on engagement on LinkedIn. When we see this sort of like as like a one-time thing, I kind of see what happens next month. If it continues, it's something to kind of look into to make sure that we're, posting the right content, the right frequency and things like that. So I'll keep an eye on this for next month. We are super close to hitting our 1,000 followers. So if you haven't followed us on LinkedIn, please do. It would be very appreciated. Any questions on LinkedIn performance? If not, we can go to YouTube. So we did cross 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which, that's a great milestone. We continue to put some really great content on YouTube. You can see on October 14th, we had a nice spike in viewership for YouTube. That was our AMP project AMA. Those continue to be very high performing, great way to get some engagement within our YouTube chat, also on Twitter, since we do live tweet it. So that continues to proves to be a really great program, and that we will continue. I think this was our year anniversary, so way to go. And then we just have our top five videos for this time frame. Any questions on YouTube? And I think there's one more slide. We did support 2 really great events this month, Node RedCon, as well as AmpFest. So you can actually rewatch those AmpFest talks. So congrats to both of those projects for really well done events. Any questions or comments on these? I think that brings us to the end.
Okay, good. Great. That brings us to the end of our content for this very spooky day before Halloween board meeting. Does anybody have any questions or comments or open discussion?
Just thank you for your creativity, Brian, with the Halloween decorations. I'm sure everybody in the audience is appreciative.
I will note that this wouldn't have happened if Miles hadn't specifically requested a spooky theme for this board meeting. So thank you, Miles, for prompting it.
I do what I can. It's every little bit.
And thank you for keeping within the foundation color scheme. I think that was quite appropriate and nice.
Everything follows the style guide. Yes. Okay,
well, again,
great.
Is there a spooky clause in the style guide for when you need to be spooky?
I can publish the spooky asset.
It's the Ghostbusters, the green. So
Green
pretty spooky. The other one is Hoth after the battle, like what happens when they all leave and all the snow monsters inhabit the base.
No matter what happens, everything is still Zool.
It's true. It's true.
All right. So thank you all, and thank you, to the foundation team for again putting together a great set of material that we've seen over the last few hours here. And thanks.
Yeah, even more stuff, more exciting stuff coming. Yeah.
Yep, more coming.
See y'all next month.
All right. Let's close the board meeting for now. Thank you much.